All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of hashtag CV99 Talks. I'm Combo Breaker 99, and I got a special guest in the house once again. This is I'm a growing fan of this fighter right here. She made her debut in Invicta like a couple years ago. She's fought for LFA.
Yes.
Very sharp, very smart young fighter on the come up. Brittney, the Quiet Storm, Cloudy. Hey, thanks for coming on, Brittney.
Oh, hey, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey,
I'm looking forward to talking with you.
hey, you know what's funny is like a storm just popped up as soon as you got on, like it's been cloudy out here. And now, like, as soon as you started talking, like it just started pouring. You got any effects with that? You controlling the
I
storm?
have a little special little connection with the weather and the universe and everything. Yeah, yeah.
Hey, but yeah, but thanks for coming on. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to catch up with you, kind of find out what's been going on and, just kind of chop it up with you as a fighter, kind of, get people more, familiar with Brittney. But just let me know how everything's been kind of going on. I know with this whole lockdown, training's kind of been hard for some fighters. How's it been for you though?
Oh man. I guess I'm in a boat with a lot of other people who felt like since the beginning of this year, you were like, man, let's just throw the whole year away. It seems because it just seems like it just
Hey,
got started off rocky, right?
yes. So
Yeah,
just so much craziness.
yeah. So I mean, it's definitely has been a challenging year, and everything was, really picking up speed and good momentum. My last fight in March, um, even though that fight didn't end the way that I would like it, it was still setting me up to project myself into a good place. And so, since we kind of just been on a little lockdown of just stillness in a sense, it just pretty much gave me other time to, work on some other things and focus on other things in my career and my life too as well. So just managing really,
Hmm.
but hoping to, increase the intensity and the pace and, get some fights back on as long as they're, still putting on shows.
Right, right. Yeah. Yeah, because it just looks like, everything is kind of slowly, gradually getting back into pace. Boxing's picked up. Of course, the UFC, they haven't missed a beat. They kind of been going on, you know, like a week after week basis. But as far as like the training, have you just like been able to like stay physically fit, but not really like get in too much work like on the mat or like sparring?
There was a time period where I didn't get to train as much as I would have liked to, and
Mm,
definitely took a decrease in training, along with I'm sure a lot of people, because I usually take some time to recover after fights anyway. So I got a chance to go home. Back, I'm from originally from St. Louis, and
okay.
so after my fight, I had some time to go home, spend time with family for a little bit before I came back out here to continue training. So we've been slowly picking up speed with training, and since they released the lockdown and allowed things back open, we've been able to, get back into the intensity. But really, it has never really stopped.
Hmm. Yeah, as a fighter, you still got that mind frame, right? You still been keeping
Yeah.
it's kind of like you eat, live, and breathe it, right?
Yeah, even though the world is slowing down, that doesn't mean that what we have going on. I mean, a lot of people, what you have your own personal journey or whatever it is that you're still working towards it, in whatever way that you can. So,
Hmm.
been
Now,
on that.
I just had a question off top that just kind of popped up in my mind for you. Like, yeah, like there's a lot going on right now in the outside world too that can kind of affect us mentally. But how is like how is being a fighter kind of helps you deal with what's been going on out here? As far as like just a lot of the racial injustice and things like that. Like, how is being that fighter kind of helps you control yourself at the same time, help you mentally through it?
Um, I mean, I think being a fighter has definitely played a large role in like how I've been coping during this time. But really, I think that a lot of things just leading up to this now, just every lot of multiple experiences that I've had, um, just growing and becoming has helped me to be able to still remain focused and hopeful in these times. So just doing things and taking risks like moving here and leaving my everything behind in St. Louis just last year to come here and train as was a very uncomfortable, situation to put myself into. It was like a little risk, but it was, I had visions of it, panning out and working out. And I always felt like whenever you take yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit, you can allow yourself to be able to grow. And so being here, just training mostly the full time this past year up until this point, has definitely, I feel like, has strengthened me mentally, just to embrace being uncomfortable and focusing in on something and actually, investing in the time and energy into something. So even in this time where nothing's going on, it's definitely trying, but I feel like my patience is one of my strongest assets. I think it also kind of ties in. I've always been a patient person. I used to teach first grade, so I've always been told that I have a lot of patience, and I think you really need patience for that. So
yeah, like I've taken my hand just at like teaching people one-on-one with certain things, and like, yeah, I understand. Yeah, you got to have a high tolerance, especially for little 6-year-olds. But as you bring that up, how did you go from teaching to the MMA world?
So, well, I guess taking it back a little bit, when I was in college, I always knew that I wanted to teach. Since high school, I've always wanted to be a part of someone's growth, and whatever little trickle I can help to make the world better. And for me, I feel like that's through people. I definitely feel like I'm a public servant. I gravitate towards fields into service of others. So, like, I also have went to school for counseling. So, I have a passion and heart for just overall wellness. But getting into teaching, there's always something I wanted to do. But I've always been an athlete since like elementary school. I played sports. I was playing basketball growing up. I ran track. I ran track in high school. Then I decided to run track in college. And so that was just something that was like always a part of my life. And so that was just part of my identity, really. So when I decided to move on from track, I just still had this desire of like wanting to continue to do something else. And at that time, I was watching MMA and learning about it just from a spectator standpoint in time. And after I finished with track, I was like, you know what, I'm really fascinated by the sport. I found myself learning more about it, and I wanted to try it out. So I'm teaching. So then I started, doing jiu-jitsu classes and boxing classes, outside of work. And ever since then, I just became addicted to it. I just wanted to keep learning more and keep getting better at it. I'm definitely a thrill chaser. I love challenges, and this sport has definitely been something that continually challenges me mentally, physically, and all aspects. So here I am now, still doing it.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Fascinating though. Like, you just jump all these different sports, and then you just jump to something like MMA, and like what was that one sport that you really like loved back in, like, when you were coming up in high school? Like, what was that one sport? Was it track?
Honestly, it was basketball. I was
It was
definitely a
basketball.
hooper. I was a hooper at heart, for sure. I was like, man, I'm gonna be in the WNBA. I had all those dreams and stuff like that. I really liked the sport, watched basketball and everything. And for a while, like, track was just, we're gonna do track just to stay in shape for basketball. It became that. But then, I found something that I was good at that I liked in track as well, which was like sprinting and jumping. And so I ended up feeling like I would be more successful, striving for that. And so I made that choice to just, stick with track, and I continue that forward.
Okay. So I have like when I have downtime, sometimes I just like go on YouTube and check out fights, and that's how I became familiar with you. Like, I saw your debut on Invicta, but I seen some of your amateur fights posted up there. You have a pretty solid amateur. And you had a pretty solid amateur career. Where, like, while you were taking on these amateur fights, were you still teaching at the same time?
hmm
Oh,
Yeah, I was
wow.
still teaching. Um, they're out. So I taught third grade for 3 years, and then I took like a year as a TA, which I was still in the schools, but then they'll transfer me over into first grade all
Mhm.
the time while I was still, you know, in the sport and, doing that at night and traveling to places on the weekend for competitions and stuff. So it was like my whole little second career outside of my
Mhm.
main one.
When was it like when you felt like I have to focus all my time now on mixed martial arts, when you just feel like this really take needs to take up more of my time than teaching? When was it that you felt that point?
Well, like you said, I had I had a nice handful of experience as an amateur. I had
Mhm.
8 amateur fights, and I pretty much just got to the point to where I had fought everyone locally that I could fight. And so it was like, all right, well, who else is there to fight? I've had this many fights, and I've been slowly like working my way to like gain more skills in the different aspects of mixed martial arts. And it was like a collective conversation of like, all right, I think it's time, to go pro. And so I trained for that, my pro debut. And that was over the summer. It was in July. So it was kind of perfect because we get the summers off as teachers. So I had that time to really like just focus on the weight cut. And that was also my first time making the cut all the way to 125.
Mhm.
But after that, um, I went back to work, and I was also finishing up my master's program. And that year was really hard because I was working and I was doing internships and I was trying to train too. And I just felt like, this is just too much. Like I'm doing too much. And so
Mm.
I felt like after that last year, so that year of me not competing, I decided that this was a good breaking point to be able to change it up and actually like kind of just put my eggs in one basket in a sense and go
Mhm.
for it. Because I've also had the desire to um, leave St. Louis because I've been in St. Louis all my life. And so I
Mhm.
was like, oh, this is a great time to, you know, for my life to explore something else, to pour into something that I, really care about and invest in me. So I thought that would be a great time. It just seemed like it was a perfect time. And I'm glad I did, because if I would have waited any longer, it
Oh
would have been
yeah.
a pandemic and it wouldn't have happened. So perfect timing.
Oh yeah, definitely. Did you have any like family members kind of making you second guess a little bit, saying, "Oh, why?" Were they kind of shocked that you wanted to do this instead of teaching after a while? Or
I mean, yeah, I think that like, well, for me, it was kind of sad to like, I didn't want to like leave like the only people that I actually really know, my family and my friends there. But I knew that what I envisioned for myself would be worth it. And I see what I have envisioned for me, and so far everything is manifesting. Even it's still going, even though who
yeah.
could anticipate. I'm feeling this pandemic coming on next year. Visualizing that in your plans, no one does that, but um, I still have that support from my family and friends back home because um, they believe in me, that I see what I see for myself and they see it in me too. So that gives me strength to be okay with breaking ties and
Mhm.
moving on out here.
Well, that's good. Yeah, it's good to have some, support from the family. That means they really believe in you. Um, what what gym do you train out of?
I trained at Timo Yama
Hmm.
in Irvine, California, kind of like in Orange County.
Hmm. How'd you link up with them?
Um, well, I guess my boyfriend at the time, he had came out here to train. He's a fighter as well, and he came to this gym and he just spoke so highly of his experience here and coaching and training partners and just South this area in general. And it definitely had me captivated, and I really wanted to come and see it for myself because I wanted to. It sounded like it had a lot of the different things that I would want in an environment that would make me happy, and also pursuing what I wanted. So I came out here and, linked up with them and met and trained and got a little tour around. And I mean, from that moment, I knew that this is where I wanted to go. And so since then, it was like, let's plan for this and gonna make this happen.
Okay. And I see on your Instagram, you actually got to train with some top, some top fighters. You actually trained with Carla Esparza a little bit too, right?
Yeah.
What was that like, getting to train with like a former champion like her?
I mean, well, I think the whole like saying of you are who you surround yourself with,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like at the gym that I'm surrounded with high level people and people who will have the same visions and goals and mentality that I do. And just that alone just is very comforting to have. There's times where I have trained with Carla, and man, she's really great to go with, like her wrestling and everything and her experience. And it's just all around well athlete. However, there's a huge size difference, so I don't train with her all the time. But we definitely have a nice little squad of females that I train with too. Got a Flohani. She's a Tahitian fighter from French Polynesia. She's fighting with LFA too, along with Lisa Malden. She's a LFA fighter as well. And then, I mean, I'll start listening to I want to name every person on our team because I find value in every person that I train with, a lot of talent, a lot of skill. We have a lot of guys who are already in the UFC. So it's nice to be able to chase that level of intensity that I see them training and how they're functioning and everything. It just gives me something to work towards and to gauge myself on. So it's definitely a great place to be, and I'm enjoying it.
Sounds good. Definitely sounds good. I remember that saying, people say, if you want to be a better tennis player, surround yourself with better tennis players,
Yeah.
always stay sharp. But, Brittney, what's a day in the life of Brittney? Like just a regular day, as far as getting up in the morning, training, like how does it go for you?
Pre-pandemic or post-pandemic?
We gonna stay positive. Let's say let's stay with pre-pandemic.
Yeah, things have changed a little bit since then. Nothing too much, just a matter of just restructuring my schedule around. But originally, like during the week, we'll have 2 trainings. So wake up, and I like to do my morning routine, especially when I'm in fight camp. Get up, go for a morning run, stretch, yoga, take care of my body, do some reading, drink some coffee, eat some breakfast, just all the soothing things that I enjoy that relaxes me, kind of like just a morning meditative state in preparation for training. Go train. Like a 2-hour training session, go hard, and come back home, shower, eat, take a little nap, go back to the gym, do it again, train, eat, shower, wake up, repeat the next day. Look forward to the end of the week. We always go out with a bang. Saturdays is our running day. We go and do some crazy running that I'm always like, oh, I have to remind them that I did sprints and jumps. I didn't do long distance and stuff because they always say, "Well, you ran track," but I'm like, "Oh man, it's still really hard." But I enjoy the running. I enjoy the challenges. And we come back and we'll spar. Then we'll have a rest day on Sunday, sometimes Fridays too. So the weeks go by so fast with all of the training, but I like it, because I'm where I want to be and I'm doing what I want to do. So
yeah,
it's definitely enjoyable.
Okay, the time flies by when you're having fun. It sounds like you're having fun with it. Well,
Yeah,
pre-pandemic, right? Pre-pandemic.
yeah, exactly. I still
But
find some fun now too. Yeah.
yeah. So fighting with LFA, are you exclusively fighting with them, or are you kind of like a free agent? How'd you link up with LFA?
I haven't signed any fight deals with them or anything, but for my last fight in March, they were looking for someone to fight one of their contract fighters. She was, I guess, their top prospect at 135, and it was kind of perfect because we were both fighting at 125. We both wanted to move up to 135, and
Mm-hmm.
so thought that was perfect. And it was like the, athlete versus athlete. It was a good matchup. It was in Texas, but just like you always have that in the back of your mind when you're the person being called in for someone,
Right.
in their hometown. So, but like I told you before, I like the challenge anyway. I'm like, all right, let's do it. So I took that fight, and it was a really great fight. I feel like I showed got a lot of skill of where I am. Some things that to look forward to seeing more of me on. I learned that I definitely need to get my finishing rates up so that you don't leave
Mm-hmm.
it to the judges. But
Right.
you
Right.
know, that as far as like just along for the journey and my journey as far as my growth in the sport, um, where I'm heading in a good direction. So every fight I get better. So for me, that's all that matters. Of course, I want to get the wins too. So
Oh yeah,
that's the
definitely.
mission.
Now you bring that fight up because I was going to bring that up to you. Now, Haley Cohen, very good fighter, very solid fighter. I watched the fight like 2, 3 times. I watched it on YouTube, and looking at pretty much just like everybody else in the comment section, you had a pretty strong backing and argument that you won the fight. Which I agree with, because like I said, I watched 2, 3 times just to see what I'm looking at, and I did feel you won the fight. A lot of people in the comment section felt you won the fight. Is that somewhat of a consolation prize for you? Do you feeling like, even though the judges didn't give it to you, you can still walk away and say, I did give it my all, and I must have did something to impress somebody.
Yeah. Well, I can't. I mean, I can definitely say that having people to who also favoring your opinion is validating that,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I know I'm not tripping, right? You know, although I really feel strongly that right after that I did enough to win, and but that was just one of the things that I visualized. I thought about could happen if I didn't finish the fight, and
Right.
so I tried to make it a easier pill to swallow within that moment. It still sucks, but at the same time, you know, all the people who reached out to me to tell me or just to voice their opinion about it, that how they felt about it, just still gave me that a little bit more fire and flame to even though it's not written on my record that was a win. I know that was a win to me, and I can still take the pros and cons of that and take it so that my next fight that there won't be so much uh, subjectivity to what's going to happen in my fights and how it's going to end. So
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It was, yeah, I understand. Yeah, it was definitely a learning experience. And like I said, me along with a lot of people in the comment sections of YouTube, they were, how they are on YouTube comments.
yeah,
Everybody was like telling the truth about something. Sometimes they're trolling, but this time they were telling the truth. But
yeah, I agreed. It was the truth.
yeah.
I was like, well, I don't have to say anything. Everybody knows the truth. Whenever this fight comes up, if someone needs to vouch, I'm pretty sure that many people who saw the fight, they will know. But at the end of the day, it has already happened. I'm still just looking forward to what's coming next. So,
Okay. Well, speaking of what's coming next, I was just about to get into that. Like moving forward, in the future, any fight plans? If anybody reached out to you about upcoming fights up with LFA yet?
um, well, I'm hoping that maybe if everything's going well, that get back out there and sometime in August would be great. Just been working on getting back into the flow of things and training more and adjusting to everything. And our coach has been like all over the place because of all the fights. Like we've had guys fighting like on every UFC UFC card here lately, so he's been gone, and now you got the Fighter Island going off. So
Mhm.
um, hopefully, when all of that stems back down, we'll get some crunch time in, get a fight camp going, and hopefully have a fight scheduled in August. That's what I'm reaching and hoping for. So
Sounds good. Y'all heard it, hey, reach out. August should be ready. Should be ready.
yeah.
But that nickname, the Quiet Storm, how'd you get that nickname?
um,
Oh
I
yeah,
guess
I love the Storm costume too that you had in your Invicta debut. I said she came out straight Storm. All right.
yeah. I was like, I thought it would be fun to do a little cosplay. It was fun.
Hmm.
Um, well, I mean, a part of it is a play off my name.
Yeah.
My last name is Cloudy. And I've always had jokes being associated with the weather. My friends call me Stormy and things like that.
Hmm.
But as far as just like the quiet storm and the metaphor that it how I interpret it is just that silent killer. You
Yeah.
know, personality. I'm pretty quiet, kind of shy, but when I start speaking, when I start moving, when I start doing, everything has an intent to it. So it's the quiet storm.
Oh yeah, yeah. Definitely makes sense. It definitely fits your character. Uh-huh. So Brittney, being a fighter, it's the career path you chose now. What's your ultimate goal? What's the big picture that you see as far as being a fighter? What's the ultimate goal that you want at the end of your career?
Um, well, when it comes to just like the physical aspect of it, I wanna go all the way to the top to where where you create a new ceiling. So I want to fight, and I want to fight the best, and I want to continue to grow and be the best version of a fighter and person that I can be. So that's that physical goal. But I also want to use. I also want to take fighting and combine it with everything else that I'm passionate about. Like I mentioned before, I'm very passionate about education. I'm passionate about mental health and wellness. I'm passionate about physical wellness because I'm an athlete, and I wanted to combine all of those things. And I wanted to take that and open up different types of community outreach where you can find all of those pieces of wellness in communities. And I wanted to start by going back to my, original community in St. Louis and those communities with my people. I wanted to go back and support my community and support the communities around our country. And I want to be a part of people and things that are big to where it's all about how can we, create better lives for each other. And especially with everything that's going on right now, it's like more incentive, more drive to really work towards being able to be in a place to do something and to take action and be a part of a positive solution. So ultimately, I want all of that.
Hmm. That's great. I'm glad you brought that up though. Just having all of those connections, like, has MMA really helped you bring all that together? The physical, the mental, and just having
Yeah,
all connect.
yeah. I feel like so at the same time that I've been completing my counseling masters. I've been using myself as the client, and analyzing myself. But at the
Hmm.
same time, fighting has been like a catalyst in the sense almost to put me in situations to really look at myself and challenge myself within my mind, within my soul, my person as a whole being. And I really feel like I've tapped into things that has given me that awareness that, I mean, what else can I do with it? If I'm aware of it, then I can be intentional about it and do something that's going to be for the betterment. And so I feel like fighting has definitely given me that piece to connect to me deeper than and beyond physical and intellectual levels. So And with all of like the experience that I've had so far with teaching and like schooling and everything, I just see how it all just, comes together. So, yeah.
Shoot, you need to write a book. I'm
One day
fascinated. I was fascinated with what you were saying, which leads me to just a question I got popped up in my head here. Like, a piece of advice, what's one little piece of advice you could give some of the young kids growing up right now, especially like a lot of the young Black girls growing up, young Black kids growing up, what they got to deal with? Like, what's one piece of advice you can give them on how to break the chain, just how to like not be comfortable and just how to move forward and change something?
Well, I feel like I can't say that it's just one. Well, actually, I will say, and this is coming from the teacher in me, but I feel like this is what's helped. There's not one piece of information that you need. There's multiple pieces of information that you're going to need that can be helpful to you. So that means that being open to learn and to like be a lifelong learner, no matter what it is that you aspire or that you're passionate about, that you're interested in, or something that you're having trouble with, whatever it is, that there's resources, that there's other people too, because that's another thing, we can connect with each other, that we can lean into, to research into, to pour into ourselves, that can also help, grow us as people. And that's one thing that I've been doing a lot that I haven't been able to do, that I've been so appreciative of, which is reading. Just reading a lot of different things from different people. You talk about reading a book, writing a book, so like go the best place to really figure out whatever it is that you want or have support or anything is just being open and ready to learn, and understanding that what you have right now isn't what you're going to have for the rest of your life. I'm literally right now reading the book Mindset, which talks about fixed mindset versus growth mindset, and just the importance of having a growth mindset, because if like having a fixed mindset, really you limit yourself and your potential. And just open your mind up to understanding what growth mindset looks like, what intelligence looks like, and that's being able to put yourself in uncomfortable situations, embracing it, and continuing to keep trying and trying again. So I would say that just being a lifelong learner.
Boom, mind blown right there. That's good advice. Very good advice. Just like I said, very sharp, very smart. Brittney, I don't want to take up any more of your time, but with the UFC returning and Victor returning, like, I meant to ask you this too, with no crowds, like, would that really affect you in any way? Like, being able to fight with no crowd there?
I mean, definitely the crowd gives the emotional piece to fighting that can really help in certain situations, but at the end of the day, you're still the only one in the cage fighting. So the show will go on, and I would love the crowd, but I don't need them. I mean, I know that they're watching, but so I'll be all right.
Hey, that's true. That's true. Hey, it's all about you when you get in there, right?
Once the bell rings, you're not thinking about that anymore.
Right.
Think about this person coming at you with malicious intentions. So.
Oh yeah. So yeah, Brittney. Thanks for coming on, and let everybody know where they can follow you too, also.
Oh, well, thank you. You can follow me on Instagram, the Quiet Storm _MMA. And also Quiet Storm _MMA on Twitter, and Brittney Cloudy on Facebook. So I'm on all of those different social media sites, and follow through. I'll follow back.
All right, sounds good. And yeah, Brittney, we are looking forward to you returning to the octagon. Keep working and staying sharp.
Thanks so much for having me here. Talking to you today.
All right, thanks a lot, Brittney.
All right, thank you.
Be safe. Bye.
My name is Brittney Cloudy, the Quiet Storm MMA. You can find me on the Quiet Storm MMA and on Instagram. So come with me and follow.